Arcadian Vanguard presents the Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Monday, April 3rd, 2023. Good morning. I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with Night 2 of Wrestlemania 39, presented live last night on Peacock and the WWE Network from SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, before a live crowd announced at 81,395. In the WrestleMania main event, Roman Reigns successfully defended his WWE Universal Championship for a third consecutive year, pinning Cody Rhodes in 34 minutes and 29 seconds after illegal outside interference from Solo Sikoa. The Usos also attempted to interfere in the match on Reigns' behalf while the referee was down, but were fought off by new WWE World Tag Team Champions Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, who got in some shots on Reigns as well.
Where Reigns goes, the bloodline follows.
Oh my God!
Owens, Zayn,
The tag team champions! Owens and Zayn are here!
fighting off the Usos, evening the numbers.
Jimmy and Jay dumped! And now it's some payback for Sami! And KO! Stunner!
No.
How sweet it is! Haluma kick!
Jimmy and Jay re-entering the fray, battling to the outside.
The brawl continues!
The match made Reigns the first person since Hulk Hogan to headline 3 WrestleManias during an interrupted world title reign and marked Rhodes' first defeat since returning to WWE last year. The Intercontinental Champion and the Raw Women's Champion also retained their belts in the evening's 2 other title matches, with Gunther emerging victorious in a triple threat against Sheamus and Drew McIntyre when he pinned McIntyre after a powerbomb in 16 minutes and 36 seconds, and Bianca Belair pinned Asuka in 15 minutes and 58 seconds after hitting her with the KOD. Belair's win completes 1 full year as Raw Women's Champion since winning the title at last year's WrestleMania from Becky Lynch. Shane McMahon made a surprise appearance but suffered a torn quadriceps in the opening seconds of an impromptu match with WrestleMania co-host The Miz. As McMahon was attended to by a ringside physician, Miz's co-host Snoop Dogg stepped in the ring in what appeared to be a change of plans.
Oh, goodness! My God! Miz is out! Miz is out cold in front of 81,000 people!
Snoop's got a right hand!
Who knew? I still think we have a match. I mean, Snoop Dogg declared that a match was going to take place.
Well, Snoop Dogg's going to make sure the match continues.
This isn't okay.
Snoop can do whatever he wants.
I guess we are in Inglewood. I think those glasses cost more than Miz's suit.
The Dogfather.
Snoop and Miz continued the match, with Snoop quickly pinning The Miz after a people's elbow. This was Shane McMahon's first appearance for WWE since being terminated the day after the 2022 Royal Rumble. In other results, Edge defeated the Demon Finn Balor in a Hell in a Cell match, Brock Lesnar pinned Omos in a short opener, and in the Women's Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Showcase, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler won out over Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville, Natalya and Shotzi, and Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. The announced crowd of 81,395 was the 4th largest announced figure in WWE history, behind only WrestleMania 32, WrestleMania 3, and WrestleMania 35, and the 6th largest in the history of the industry. It also broke the pro wrestling attendance records for the state of California and the greater Los Angeles area that were set on Saturday for Night 1 of WrestleMania 39. Chief Creative Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque addressed the decision to keep the championship on Roman Reigns, a decision which has led to a divided and in some cases disappointed reaction from fans.
Right, so it's telling a story. Where do you want to go with the story and how do you want to get there? And I think in the moment you think like, oh my God, I can't believe, right? If you're watching a movie and you thought every scene in the movie was the last scene in the movie, the entire movie, you'd be like, I can't believe they just did that. It was the worst movie ever. And then you go, oh, wait, there's more, right? Oh, wait, there's more. How much do we weigh that out? every single moment of every single day. Some days when I'm trying to sleep and I can't sleep, it's because I'm weighing that out in my brain, right? And I wish that I could sleep instead of weighing it out in my brain. It's all you think about. It's all you, right? Well, if you're going to be good at this, it consumes your every moment of everything you do. It's a feel, and you feel it. Sometimes you feel wrong is wrong. Sometimes your feeling is wrong. Sometimes your feeling is right, you know? But I do know that it always continues, and the story doesn't end here.
Earlier in the press conference, Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman reflected on the win, on the continuing championship reign, and the landscape going forward.
Yeah, if this is baseball, we're just in the third inning here, man. There's so much left to do. We've said it for a long time. We're just scratching the surface. I told y'all it had to be a month after we came back in 2020 at SummerSlam. We're going to change the whole game. We're not going to follow suit. We're not going to run it like TikTok and YouTube Shorts. We're going to have to expand you people. We're going to have to open up your attention span. You're going to have to pay attention for longer than 20 seconds, y'all, because that's what we're doing. We're out here making filet mignon. This ain't McDonald's. This isn't Burger King. It's not fast food. We're giving you the good stuff. And I meant it, and I kept my word.
In major corporate news, WWE is in advanced negotiations for the company to be purchased by Endeavor Group, a talent and media holding company that also owns UFC, according to a story broken yesterday by CNBC, just hours before Night 2 of WrestleMania 39. According to the report, the official news of the finalized sale could be made public as early as today. The deal would reportedly make WWE and UFC part of the same publicly traded company, with Endeavor holding 51% of the shares and stockholders owning the remainder. Endeavor CEO Ari Emanuel would remain on as the CEO of the newly merged combat sports company, with Vince McMahon remaining on as executive chairman, along with current Endeavor president Mark Shapiro. Dana White would remain as president of the UFC, with Nick Khan serving as president of WWE. We will keep you updated on any breaking news today regarding this significant developing story. With some more WWE news, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
Vince McMahon and Stephanie McMahon were both backstage for the first night of WrestleMania, according to a report on PW Insider, with Vince McMahon actually present in a working capacity. McMahon reportedly had an office backstage next to the gorilla position, and could be heard on the headset particularly early in the show, providing feedback and critiques. McMahon was believed to have been working in a supervisory role, with Paul Levesque still being the point person running the show on headset all night. Vince McMahon entered into a new official employment agreement with WWE last week, and was also seen backstage at the March 6th edition of Monday Night Raw. For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
In injury news, Dante Martin reported being released from the hospital Saturday night in a post made yesterday on Twitter. In the post, Martin expressed gratitude to Tony Khan, AEW ringside physician Michael Sampson, and the entire AEW medical staff. Martin suffered what appeared to be a severe injury to his ankle during his match last Friday night at Ring of Honor's Supercard of Honor, which occurred after he was put through a table by Penta El Zero Miedo. The official diagnosis of the injury was not made public. With some Impact Wrestling news, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
Mickie James's injuries are worse than initially thought, according to an update provided by Tommy Dreamer yesterday at Busted Open's WrestleMania party. Dreamer reported that James had informed him of a slight shoulder tear and a torn pec sustained recently, which had not yet been made public. The Knockouts champion was unable to defend the title last weekend at Impact in New Japan's Multiverse United due to what was then described as a rib injury, from which she's reportedly also still recovering. It has previously been announced that if James is still unable to wrestle by the time of Rebellion on April 16th, a match will be held to determine a new Knockouts champion. For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
In Major League Wrestling news, Real One, better known by his previous WWE name of Enzo Amore, responded yesterday in a series of video posts to the news that he had been let go from MLW for refusing to go along with the company's creative plans for him. The former Enzo claimed that he was falsely advertised for a match with MLW World Champion Alexander Hammerstone after explaining to MLW officials that he did not want to wrestle for the MLW title. He also claimed that he was never under contract to MLW and had been a free agent his entire time there. Additionally, he claimed he refused to follow orders to bury someone in a promo who had just beaten cancer, which some outlets, including Figure 4 Online, claimed was a reference to Richard Holiday, who just finished chemotherapy treatments last February.
That ain't me, yo. Beat cancer. Those fans, when you put that advertisement out there for something that I never agreed upon, I'm not under contract with you. And so when you send me creative direction to bury a guy who just beat cancer, like, look, I do a lot of things on a microphone. I talk a lot of shit. Like, that ain't one of them, man. Sorry, cancer's a sensitive subject, and I didn't want to bury a guy who just beat cancer. So there was nothing left for me to do at MLW. I put over Microman on the way out the door like a certified G that I am, and I laid down 1, 2, 3. They wrote me off TV. But don't try to catch me with a headline saying that you fired me when I've never been under contract with you. I've just been a man of my word, bro. I got my balls in my word, and I don't break for nobody. Hey, you don't.
And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.